Shaun Hergatt grew up in Australia and won several awards for his cooking, including Best Young Chef. And now he is winning awards here in America.
Less than a year ago, he opened Juni, a boutique restaurant inside Manhattan's Hotel Chandler, and it's already been named Best New Restaurant by Esquire Magazine. Chef Shaun Hergatt, welcome to The Dish. Thanks for being here.
Good morning.
What have we got in front of us? It looks beautiful.
You know, I think this is a bit of an homage to summer, and I think it's something that is quite comforting and very casual. And for me, it's always something that it has to be fresh, and obviously the ingredients, a lot of it's from Union Square Market, so we like to support the local guys, but hopefully it just tastes nice and fresh.
I love that you say that this is informal. It's surf and turf. You're probably the only person that would say it's informal. But I want to ask you, because when I look at all of the dishes here, one of the things I notice that seems like it's really echoed in your restaurants is letting the colors of the food shine on the plate.
Natural beauty of what is surrounding us, and also the earth gives us these amazing colors. And right now, the reason why Juni is called June is because summer and spring in June, everything is fantastic. Not only from a visual aspect, you've got the blossoms, you've got also the great tendrils, everything is growing right now, and it's really at its peak of flavor as well.
You grew up in Australia.
I am very Australian.
Your father was a professional chef?
For a while, yes.
So is that what got you hooked
on this? You know, he was part of it, but my grandmother was my great inspiration in my life, and she was the one who was very much a huge part of me growing into this sort of foodtarian and sort of like just completely indulging my entire life in the food business, yeah.
You know, we have a lot of chefs that talk about seasonality and the importance of it, but I think you're the first one that I've read that says if a product is only right for like 2 weeks, that's the length of it being on the menu. How challenging is that? You know, it is a challenge, but I think the wonderful thing about it is we have these micro seasons now, because as we all know, this winter was pretty brutal. It also lasted halfway through spring, so the dynamics of the way that the weather patterns are changing dramatically. And what we do is we follow those micro seasons to understand when the things are growing. We pick them, we cook them, we present them, we eat them. When they're no longer at its peak, then we move on to something else. It's inspiring.
Now, let me take you back to Australia for a minute, because you're inspired by your grandmother. You start a restaurant there. Yes. And your career as a chef takes off there. So what brings you to the United States? You know, it was a funny thing. I think that I had an option when I was a young man. I think I was 24 to go and work in Japan. And I actually always had an idea of coming to the United States because my father's from Ohio. So here I was going to come over for 1 year. And then all of a sudden, 15 years later, I find myself in New York. And this is now my second restaurant that I've opened. But, you know, I love it. I love it. We're looking at images of the restaurant right now. It's super minimalist. Yeah, I think we like to highlight the food on the plate, keeping in mind that, in my mind anyway, I think that's what you're there for a restaurant, right? You go to sit down, you have a great drink, and you have hospitable situation, and you also have great food. But that being said, I read that you said the way to really experience one of your meals is to do the 10-dish tasting menu. Well, what we start out with is you actually have 8 canapes, then you'll have 10 savory dishes and sweets, and then you'll have 4 petit fours. It's an experience. I mean, it's not something that you just pop in and say, listen, we're going to have a 4-hour event. But at the same time, I feel like it is a lifetime experience. It's one of those sort of childhood memories that I bring to the table, and it's all the inspiration of what we have in the local market. And then you have, you know, 23 years worth of cooking expertise with a great team behind you. And this is what we try to produce. It is a lifetime memory. Not to be the lush here, but can I ask what we're drinking? You know, it's something delicious. Kaffir lime is one of those things that I think is so fresh for summer. It has a little bit of pisco and some rum in it as well. I think it complements the meal really, really well. Can I tell him that he said before we had this, he said it's still a little late for me to be having a cocktail. A true Australian. Funny, I feel the same way. We didn't get really a chance to go over what some of the dishes are, though. So start from this side, and it's lobster. Obviously, it looks like some sort of sabayon, but I'm sure I have that incorrect. Actually, that's pretty good. I even said it right, didn't I? So walk us through what we're eating. You've got this big foodie inside you. Yeah, I do. She does, actually. Screaming to get out. Well, actually, what it is, it's some Maine lobster. We grill it, take it out of the shell, and all it is a hollandaise sauce that we emulsify, a little bit of citrus into it, some orange, some lemon zest. But again, food should be very simple and it should be easy to understand. Classically, you've got this sort of hollandaise that everyone associates with, and then we also got these elderflowers that we picked up from Union Square, which I find has a very floral note to it too, and it's also quite healthy for you. We should know that for folks that there's a fabulous outdoor food market in Union Square, which is what you're talking about. Yeah, well, my restaurant's only a few blocks up the street, so I spend a lot of time there digging around and finding all those beautiful little things, and
I think, especially now, you know, the sun's really strong, and I feel like there's a lot of stuff that we can use.
It's an absolutely beautiful plate of food, and it's delicious. Chef Shaun, if we can get your signature on this.
Oh, this is fun.
I want to ask you, though, as you sign that dish, if you could have this meal with anyone, past or present, who would that person be?
You know, I think I've thought about this quite often, and, you know, it's actually somebody who lives, and it would be my grandmother.
Yeah,
you know, I think it's somebody who's, like I said, she's my inspiration. She's 84 years old now. I don't get to see her as often as I should, but if there's somebody I want to spend my time with, it's her, and especially over a great meal.
I'm sure she'd be very proud.
Yeah.
Chef Shaun Hergatt, thank you again. And for more on Shaun and the dish, head to our website at CBS This Morning.